Tell me timeline. Where the stuff has come from the past to current. Back in 803 AD, the war against the Ainu ends. The Emperor, Kammu, has left court, appointed aristocrats as leaders of his army, and an aristocrat, Sakanuta Moromaru, has emerged as a war hero in the first person, with the title of shogun. On 807 AD, the Abbasid Caliph, Harun al-Rashid, decrees that Baghdad Jews are wear a yellow badge and Christians are to wear a blue badge. On 813 AD, the new Abbasid Caliph in Baghdad, son of al-Rashid, Abdallah al-Mamun, sends people to Constantinople's empire to collect scientific works by ancient Greeks. On 825 AD, the Kingdom of Wessex wins in war and becomes the dominant power in England. On 826 AD, in China, the Tang dynasty limps along politically. A reckless teenager, Jingzong, has inherited the throne, the second emperor, in 5 years. In the eyes of court eunuchs, he has filled the court with incompetent persons, and they have him assassinated. On 834 AD, in Norway, 2 women are buried in a Viking ship. In the year 2008 it will be called the Oseberg ship. One of the women will be described as upper class and her skeleton indicating that she had led a hard life. The older woman, in her 70s and perhaps over 80, has cancerous tumors in her bones, perhaps having spread there from breast or uterine cancer. On 840 AD, eunuchs in China have chosen Wuzong, age 36, as emperor, and while doing so they murder 2 rivals to the throne and the mothers of these contenders. On 841 AD, in Scandinavia, an increase in population has inspired people called Vikings or Norsemen to venture out in longboats. This year, give or take a year or so, Vikings land and build a settlement on the south bank of the River Liffey, founding what will eventually be the city of Dublin. On 843 AD, Buddhism, imported from India, has grown in China. Wuzong is an ardent Taoist, and he begins a campaign that will close Buddhist shrines and temples, return Buddhist monks and nuns to lay life, and confiscate millions of acres of Buddhist land. Buddhism in China is to survive but never fully recover, while its rival, Confucianism, enjoys a renewed intellectual life. On 845 AD, Vikings journeying up the Seine River and arriving at Paris in search of loot are bribed not to attack. On 850 AD, a Muslim scholar in Baghdad, Al-Kindi, is using translations of Aristotle unavailable in Western Europe to create a Neoplatonic school of Islamic thought. Gunpowder is described in a Taoist book of alchemy, the classified essentials of the mysterious Tao of the true origin of things. On 858 AD, in Japan, the Nakatomi family has changed its name to Fujiwara. Fujiwara women have married into the royal Yamato family and they have given birth to Yamato emperors. The Fujiwara family runs the government and their taking power is described as having begun a power that the Fujiwara family is to keep for 3 centuries. Christian missionaries developed the Cyrillic alphabet, from written Greek an alphabet that in modern times is used in Russian, Serbian, Bulgarian and other languages. On 860 AD, Vikings have attacked at Constantinople. A new phase in Scandinavian Viking aggression has begun. Encouraged by former successes, the Scandinavians are beginning to attack in greater number. On 861 AD, Vikings voyage up the river Seine and attack at Paris, up the Rhine to Cologne, and they attack at Aix-la-Chapelle. On 862 AD, Vikings have reported that land is more available abroad. Their growth in population has eliminated the availability of land at home. Moving from more densely populated areas, Scandinavians have begun moving to less densely populated areas and settling down. Rurik of Scandinavia has established a dynasty at Novgorod. On 865 AD, in England, an army of Danes has overthrown the kingdoms of Northumbria, Mercia and East Anglia. On 868 AD, someone in China produces a book of pages and paper. On 869 AD, the last writing on a stele in the major Maya city of Tikal is dated as 869. On 870 AD, a Sufi, Tayfur Abu Yazid al-Bistami, has been spreading his wisdom. A change has been taking place in Islam as religion, and when the Roman Empire was disintegrating. Muslims are no longer looking with hope to a God that is a glorious conqueror. Instead they are looking for a sense of well-being through a personal relationship with Allah. The Sufi movement is bringing Allah down from his heights and sees him as a loving friend the way Christians saw Jesus. On 874 AD, Vikings settle in Iceland. On 899 AD, the Maya city Tikal is abandoned. Other Mayan cities in the surrounding lowland area are collapsed while some cities in the northern Yucatan Peninsula continue to thrive. Map: King Alfred the Great of Wessex has rallied England against Viking attacks. Vikings are settled and remain in Northumbria and East Anglia while a Viking army has sailed back to the continent. And on 900 AD, for some time the horse collar has been spreading in Europe, invented more than 1,000 years earlier in China. The collar prevents choking a horse, ignored by Roman farmers. The collar allows a horse to pull heavier loads, needed for pulling plows in Europe's heavy soils. By now a Muslim trading settlement has been established on the coast at Zila on the northern Somali coast, about 150 miles south of the mouth of the Red Sea. See you in part 44 of the World Timeline. After that, it will be part 45.